Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian, Pace reporting live here at the House of Swing, Jazz at Lincoln Center here in New York City. It's been a little over 5 years since the last time saxophonist, composer, and educator J.D. Allen and I sat down to break bread. And tonight, he's performing music with his quartet featuring the great Charlie Hunter on guitar, Gregg August on bass, and Rudy Royston on drums. His current album, Americana, picks off where he left off, and he wants musicians as well as music fans to reconnect themselves to the blues. Now, as you guys might know, the blues is really the imprint of gospel, jazz, as well as hip-hop and rock and roll. Tonight, he and I sit down and we elaborate on why blues has become a lost art form in modern American music, as well as we sit down and talk about the great Betty Carter and how she really influenced him to compose. So sit back, relax, and enjoy highlights of the great J.D. Allen, live here at Dizzy's, here at Jazz in Lincoln Center, the House of Swing, here on the Pace Report, here in New York City. grandfather, if he was here tonight, he'd be smiling. He'd be smiling because blues is instinctive. In fact, my foray into blues was Duke Ellington, Count Basie, and then we moved to the blues side. It's B.B. King, it's Denise LaSalle, Johnny Taylor, Robert Johnson, Billie Holiday, and you at your age reached really hard with Charlie Hunter, man. Why are we going back into roots?
To roots. Well, first and foremost, I like to think personally that everything I play is the blues. Everything I play is the blues. Roots. You know, I just wanted to touch on something, man. I wanted to try to create a people's record, whether they listen to it or not. You know, something that can connect with people. You know, a blue collar situation. It was a one chord blues. The album Americana Volume 2 is based off of one chord blues. And Charlie Hunter, I'm a big Charlie Hunter fan. And I got it. Gregg Bryan was so kind enough to introduce me to Charlie Hunter. And I asked him would he do the record. He agreed to it. But first and foremost, I wanted to get to know him a bit. And when I listened to his story, I felt a kinship. And so it was really easy to have him play with us. And obviously he killed it, you know, brought a lot of knowledge to the music and a lot of heart and a lot of information that he knows about American history, you know, where we can talk openly, you know. So that's why Charlie Hunter.
Well, Charlie's from the Oakland, that Bay Area.
Yeah.
So I always say Oakland is kind of like Detroit Part 2 or Philly is a very soulful and a very political town as well. So there's a spirit in that city that is very much enrooted with Black American music and Black culture and the migration too, because it's a port city and a lot of people from the South migrated to that city, and the blues by way of those cities is always was in the mix. Why do you think now in 2023 that blues music is not the norm anymore?
Well, it is. You know, it's the fabric of the music that's coming from the United States. It's in everything. It's in everything, man. It's in hip hop. It's definitely in rock. You know, it's in jazz. It's in gospel. I mean, you know, shit. The blues is all over the world, man. You know, what the question is, what is the blues?
That's true. That's true.
What is the blues? It's a nebulous type thing, but it's a concrete thing. You know, at the same time. At least that's my opinion. It's a folk music. You know, but in America, it's everything. It's in how we walk. You know, it's in how we dress. It's how we do our day to day, black or white. You dig? It's a perseverance situation. It's a situation where you could cry. It's all things, man. You know, but definitely in this country, I can tell you that for certain that it's here in everything. I see it everywhere, and that's not a bad thing. You know, that's a spirit of perseverance. You know, it's our story as Americans as a whole. It's our story. You know.
Amiri Baraka wrote this very important book that I recommend everyone read called Blues People. And in the book, he talks about how the blues shout, it all originates from Africa, and everything instinctively from our experience comes from the motherland by way of the Caribbean too.
True.
How is it that the vernacular of the griot telling the story found its way into the blues? Because when you're playing the saxophone, you're telling the story also. And a lot of people don't correlate that to the blues.
Well, I don't know if it's found its way from Africa, because, you know, first of all, Africa is a continent. There's many countries in that. Having gone there and having friends from there, yeah, there is a connection, but I like to think that maybe it's found its way. I don't know. It's not that we don't have intelligence while doing what we're doing, but I'm not sure if it's, you know, if the motherland. It's coming from that, but where, I don't know. I mean, I just found out where I'm from, so I'm not sure. You know, how is it found this way? Well, through New Orleans, you know, we had a particular day where we can get down and do our thing, and these different people from different parts of Africa, and Haiti, and all these things came together and did their thing. You know, I don't know. I'm just doing it. You know, you dig? I'm doing it. You know, good or bad. I didn't pick this. It picked me. If I had to pick, it would be some whole other stuff. Honestly, bro. You know, so I mean, I'm grateful for it, but it found its way because that's how we express ourselves. That's, you know, we would give the options that we were given. You know, this is what we did with it. Black and white. I got to say black and white at this point. I have a little more clarity about some things, you know, in terms of how we deal with each other. Here, you know, the Appalachian Mountains, different Appalachians, you know, Appalachian, they have some music that's very kinship to the blues. You know? So the question is it a music of suffering? Is it a music of a particular group who are expressing what they need to express because they can't do this and can't do that? I don't know, but you know, it's coming from us, not only black, but it's coming from white too, you know. And I say this because I've seen some other things recently, and other people on other continents don't roll like we roll. Now, we've influenced that, but it's so ingrained in our culture that I think most people walking around here don't even know that they're dealing with the blues, you know. And that's how I feel about it at this point. You know, it belongs to a group of people, you know. It's our music.
McBride.
Oh, my man. That's my man.
And I asked him this very question about Nina Simone, Mississippi Goddamn.
Okay.
Billie Holiday, Strange Fruit.
Okay.
Sonny Rollins, Freedom Suite.
Mm-hmm.
Our story, by way of the blues, has crept into civil rights and people of color trying to have equal rights or equal say, which continues to not happen in these times. And now there's a phrase that we are coming into a fold called woke.
Okay, woke. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I gotta ask you. I gotta ask you about woke.
Okay.
In this term.
Let me get it right. Yeah.
Because the thing is that African Americans have always been woke. Jazz musicians have always, and musicians, not just jazz, we're talking about soul also. Curtis Mayfield, Bob Marley, we've always spoken about the atrocities. Why do you think now we're in an era where there's Europeans that want to erase this?
That's a good question. You follow the money, man. It's not even, you know what, honestly, brother, it's not even about whether they like me or I like them. See, that's prejudice. There's a difference between racism and prejudice. It's about the money, Now, why, if you look at it from the point of view as a person, these people who want to erase something, what benefit, how does that benefit them? So that's the question. So I look at the money. I look at like, if you have me, let's take the music, right? Let's go back, and we could be cryptic as we want. So if someone wants to accuse us of something, we can say, "No, I didn't mean that." But let's talk about that. That's how you want to talk right now, especially. So we have this art form and it's gone through different variations, and now we're at the moment of hip hop, probably one of the most powerful art forms. You can't get no deeper than talking to someone. Why is it that now, when we listen to the music, it has such negative connotations to it now? Why is that happening? Because you know why? Because some people got hip to the fact that in my opinion, we've been putting hope and dreams and perseverance and you can make it in the music, and now it's corporate America. There's no benefit for them to allow that to happen. So woke, I would be woke too if I was them, because I would be real woke. Lovingly. Now, I'm not talking to the allies. You know who you are, So if you're wondering if I'm talking to you and you're mad, then, maybe you're part of the problem, And I'm sure they're going to write like JD's mean. But the thing is, like, if I was in that situation, looking at the world and the way the world is changing and the population situation, I would be woke too. I don't blame them. I'm mad at them. I get it.
Right.
This ain't checkers. This is chess.
Right.
I can dig it. Like, why wouldn't you be woke? I would be woke too, like trying to figure out what's happening. So when you look at it like that, you can't even take it personal. It's just like, I dig it, I get it, like, here comes the sun, baby. It's like, you're gonna have to be a certain way to survive in this climate anyway. So like, wake up. I get it, I ain't even mad. Like, so it don't even faze me, anymore. Because I'm not into teaching nobody. That's why even this interview for me, it's deep, because whereas like I felt like, okay, it's cool to talk, but who am I talking to? Who am I talking to and telling something that they don't already know? I'm not talking to somebody, like somebody that look like you and me gonna listen to this, maybe, but who am I talking to? So I'm like, my job is not to teach anybody anything, because at a certain point, if you don't know, you ain't gonna know.
Right.
And that's cool too, as far as I'm concerned. So you can be woke, wake all you want. I get it. I would be woke too. I understand. Wake up. You're right. That's a good idea.
Right. The music is always saved The music's always saved us at the end of the day.
It has. Mentally and emotionally. Now, if it's gonna put some food in your refrigerator, it's the question. You know? that's the plight, you know.
Right.
And thankfully, it does, you know. But at this point, I think it's very important. I've said this before, to not be an enemy of intellect. At this point, you know, I think the way the world is going, you know, if you reveal how you think, that's a problem. You know, maybe they won't listen to your music. Maybe you might get canceled in a situation you don't even know you're canceled. You know, or maybe it becomes like what is the saying when you put a camera on a black person, it instantly becomes art. Like, I don't want to be a spectacle where you can go and look at how powerful you are. Look how this person is crying. I don't want to be any of that. I just like want to play my horn. And if you hear it, cool. If you don't, you don't. You know, because I'm doing this for me ultimately, and it serves a purpose to keep my sanity. You know, so be woke, be wake. I get it. You know, but at this point, I'm not teaching. I'm not bagging bands. I'm not. That's not my job. I'm out here to make you feel good.
Right.
And so here I got. That's not my gig. You know, it's not. There's people who could do that. Not me.
spiritually and as a musician now, because I've been following you from the beginning of this.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Listen, brother, I got ain't nobody. I'm up here rooting you guys on when at a time when they're forgetting about you guys.
Really? Okay.
And they're forgetting you guys because one, there's lack of print, there's lack of, well, YouTube has made it where everybody can see what you do in the real. And it's documented because what you do tonight, 20, 30 years, somebody's gonna watch it and say, wow, it's profound.
I hope they see a good clip.
See? And that's exactly that's the reason why when you first started to where you are now, are you more comfortable with what Betty Carter instilled in you, or are you still working on some things to perfect yourself and become a better musician?
Yeah, ultimately, first and foremost, a better person at this point is the most important thing. You know, that's most important because what's inside of you is coming out your horn. You know, so that's taking precedent over a lot of things, and not in a self-ish kind of way, a self-love kind of way, and self-love to be the best that I can for loved ones, you know, that are in my life. As far as getting myself together, that never stops. That's forever. The only other situation that's better than this is a baseball player, and they got to retire at a certain point. You know, it's cool to be an older jazz cat, you know. So, I want to get better, man. I still want to get better. You know? I haven't perfected anything.
How's writing for you now?
Writing is much different. Even like Americana Volume 2, I can't say that they're really tunes. They're more like templates. I've been kind of coming up with just templates and not a set melody, but just an energy, you know, and capturing it like that. I haven't written a tune in probably 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Probably about 3. Toys Die Dreaming, I wrote some stuff, and I did write, but I played some standards and just arranged it, and that was a task, man. You know, I did this some music for the what was that, HBO, Gordon Parks documentary, and that was I've always wanted to work with film, you know, like soundtrack stuff, score for a film, and I really enjoyed that because it didn't have a beginning or end, it was just an energy, and so I think that really influenced me going forward. I recently recorded an album and that was with saxophone, drums, and electronics. You know, that's more of a kind of a template kind of thing. So, writing is, I don't know if I'm writing. I think I'm just saying, okay, do this, and we'll figure it out and try to capture lightning in a bottle, you know. So it's a little different, you know.
I remember when you sent me the music files for your solo saxophone record.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I believe I told you this is about as naked to the world that your music fans are ever gonna get.
Yeah, I did that album a little. I was planning on doing something like that when I got about 65.
Wow.
I wasn't planning on. I was afraid that we couldn't play with people. I remember I called the record company. I was like, I'm gonna learn how to like play by myself because I don't know if we could do gigs with people, and they laughed at me lovingly. You know,
right.
They didn't take me seriously until I would say, okay, I'll record one. I'll do a test recording, and you can see, you know. And they were like, okay, go ahead and do it. And I was in Cincinnati at the time, so they sent the mics and everything like that. We booked the studio for 3 days, and it was 8 hours a day. And it wasn't until the third day that I got a bit comfortable, when I learned that the band was the room. That was my band. And the room is actually a part of the music. It was strange like that. And even that wasn't necessarily writing. I just took an old notebook and tunes that I didn't record, or I was writing down different pitches that I liked with no rhythm, and I just had like this notebook, and I would improvise the melody with these set notes and then throw the paper around and kept going, you know, like that. And it was very frightening, you know. It was frightening. I'm gonna do another one. I didn't want to get into a situation where I was just creating textures with sound. I just really wanted to play a song or play a series of notes and have a cohesive statement as if I had a band, you know. So that was the goal with Queen City. It was a good experience, you know. I learned what I can't do. It was...
I'm glad that tonight I saw the gang on that stage, man.
Yeah, my crew.
What brought it back together, man?
Well, we never broke up. That's how I feel. You know, everybody just kind of, Rudy's a leader, Gregg is a leader. Obviously, Charlie Hunter's a leader, you know, and we go off and do different projects. Americana 1, they did that, so that was, you know, that link with that happened. You know. Again, I went to the studio with really 4 bars, 8 bars, and we recorded the album over and over. I know they can record like that,
right?
You know, so they know my process, and you know, it's time to do a record with them. You know, they agreed. How lucky am I? Really?
I know. I mean, that chemistry, you can't break that up, man.
You can't. And it's changed too. It's changed our chemistry together.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's beautiful to see. You know, that's beautiful to see. It's different. You have to come at it with a different vibe, and that's growth. You know, whether you dig it or not. It's like, you know, we've changed as people. We've gotten older. Different situations have happened, so the music should change. And I'm coming to grips with that. I wish we could play more. You know, I miss playing with them. You know.
Moving forward, you looking to get on the road more now?
Oh yeah. I would love to get out on the road more. All the time, I would, you know, I would like to play with some younger people. Yeah, that'll be groovy. I wouldn't mind doing the solo saxophone thing too more. I've only done one performance like that, which was frightening. But I would like to get it to the point where I can do enough where it's not, where it's something that I really feel comfortable with. So I might do more of that in the future.
When is the? I have to ask you this, man. We need a hip hop record from you.
A hip hop record? What does that mean, actually?
Well, you know, Guru set the template about almost 30 years ago, and I think
I'm not gonna do anything with a backbeat on it. I think the backbeat on a 2 and 4 and a snare, I enjoy listening to it. I enjoy dancing to it, but like for me, it's. I think I heard that Mr. Billy Higgins used to call it the slave beat. It's the horror of the universe, you know. Like people, when you hear that, it's all that's new, something new, because they hear a backbeat. It's like watching the McDonald's commercial with black people. They always got some damn hip hop music.
Yeah, you know.
See black people, hey, try that. You know?
Yeah.
So I ain't gonna do nothing. I'll do something with sonically, maybe with people who MCs and things like that. But I don't think I'm gonna do something with necessarily a backbeat. I think I would feel really silly at this point. Not that I can't dance. I do know how to dance, you know, and I really enjoy it. But I think that'll make a lot of people happy for the wrong reasons, you know. So I don't know. Hip hop. I gotta really. There's a movement going on in hip hop, an avant-garde movement happening that I would like to get involved with. That's a sonic situation. I think that creative music, creative jazz, and that there's a common ground where there's room to be free, you know. Because that 2 and 4, that backbeat is on a grid, but swinging ain't on a grid.
Right.
It ain't a grid. It's not symmetry involved. You know, and that beat. And I don't have to always do that beat, but I like when it's implied. You know, that's a special, powerful groove. You know, that swinging aspect of it. But to do something like, you know, I don't have any interest in being anybody's backup band. I have no experiments in me like that.
Not at this phase of the game.
No, I'm not gonna do that. There's people doing it. They do it, and that's cool. You know, I'm in the short line. I'm not in the long line. I'm in the short line, brother. You know, I'm like, you know, I feel I'd rather be something that you know, that's. I love big blockbuster movies. I love Tom Cruise movies because I know I can eat popcorn and it's gonna be that. But I dig the small independent ones. You know, probably a little more. You know, that's probably the lane I'm in.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report, reporting live here at the House of Swing, Jazz and Lincoln Center, here in the heart of Columbus Circle here in New York City. I'd like to personally thank the incomparable J.D. Allen for his time. Make sure you support his current album, Americana Volume 2, which is on Savant Records. You can buy it on iTunes, Amazon.com, as well as CD Baby. Also, please support him and follow him on his upcoming tour. Follow him on social media by way of Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. As always, people, I can't stress this more than enough. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave comments on my YouTube and Vimeo channel. Also follow me on social media by way of Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, before I end, I'd like to personally thank the staff and management here at Dizzy's and Jazz at Lincoln Center for their warm hospitality. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.